My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. And it's kind of surreal that this movie actually exists and that I actually watched it tonight. Like, I love the first one, and I was very worried when they announced a sequel because I didn't want it to be a CGI filled disaster. But as the trailers started to come out for this movie, I thought it looked amazing. And if you're someone who actually knows me, you know just how excited I was to see this movie tonight. Like, this is the most excited I've been for a movie since Avatar 2. And thankfully, I loved it. I think this movie is fantastic. It is one of the year's best movies. So let's begin talking about the cast. And Michael Keaton is amazing. Like, he walks back into this role with such ease, and he's just every bit as chaotic and as hilarious as he was in the first movie, and he just knocked it out of the park. Winona Ryder, I think, did a very good job. She plays a very different side of Lydia here, but she brought plenty of humanity to this character, and she did everything she needed to incredibly well. Jenna Ortega is very likable here. Despite her moodiness, you still can't help but root for her, and I thought she brought plenty to this movie. And Catherine O'Hara is so over the top and dramatic in this movie, but it fits the tone incredibly well. I thought she did a very good job. Justin Thoreau is such a sleazy scumbag here, and I love the way his character is written, and I love the way he plays him. Monica Bellucci, I thought, did a very good job. I would have liked a bit more of her, but she has this menacing presence. But then we get to my favorite actor in this movie, and it's Willem Dafoe. He's fantastic. He is so funny. Like, his character was an actor, and now that he's dead, he thinks he's actually the character he played, and he is just hilarious. He cracked me up so many times. Arthur Conti, I thought, did a very good job. He did everything he needed to perfectly. And Danny DeVito's in this movie for just a scene, but he does a good job, I guess. So the entire cast is a real strength of this movie, but the star is Tim Burton. And look, I know he's made some duds, but he'll always be one of my favorite directors. He has a distinct style, and he makes his movies so personal, and it's been a shame that he hasn't been as good recently, but this comeback is just everything I needed. I really hope his next movie continues this path because he just impressed me in every possible way here. The practical effects of this movie look absolutely amazing. There is so much more craziness going on in this movie, and just so much more characters and so much more practical effects, and it's all so unique and imaginative and just incredible. Like, this felt like a movie that could have been made in the 80s. I thought the production design was really great, and I just love how weird this movie is. Like, it kind of blows my mind that this is going to be a box office hit this weekend with families. Like, that's just insane to me. There are some scenes here that really do push the limit, but like there's this fantastic stop motion sequence early on. There's this old Italian horror throwback scene that is just so unique and so incredibly directed. One of my favorite movies is Brain Dead, the Peter Jackson movie, and I don't want to give anything away, but there's a couple of jokes in this movie that had me laughing for minutes, and I just couldn't believe they went there. Like, he just goes for it, and so many decisions made are just perfect, and I loved what he brought to this movie. Like Tim Burton is back, and I love how we see more of the afterlife, and I would love to see a third movie. I also do kind of love the vibes. Like, the soundtrack is really good, and there's one scene of Astrid riding her bike, which was just a total mood, and I loved it. And this movie takes place on Halloween, so it has those spooky vibes. I also kind of hinted at this, but this movie is hilarious. Like, this is the hardest and the most I've laughed at a movie in a very long time. Like, every joke just got me cracking up, and the entire theater was laughing. Like, I do think this is going to be a real crowd pleaser. I do wish the music from Danny Elfman was better. Like, it's not bad, but aside from the main titles, not a single piece of music stood out to me. So that was a bit of a disappointment. I've seen some people say that this movie is just nostalgia bait, and that's just dishonest. Like, a blatant lie. So, anyways, this movie gave me everything I wanted, and then we get to the story. And I do think the story being told is really great. It does take its time, but there's plenty of goofy shenanigans in the first half to keep you entertained. But there's a point where the story does kick off, and it instantly raises the stakes immediately. And when I look back on the first half of the movie, the way it built up to that moment was actually incredible. My issue with this movie comes from the fact that it's too short. Like, I think it needed to be 20 minutes longer, because I love every plot beat we get, but sometimes I just wish the heartfelt moments could last a little bit longer. There is one plot line that feels like it gets resolved a bit too easily, and then we get to the climax, and the way Beetlejuice is defeated felt very easy as well. Like, when you compare the climax of this movie to the first movie, it kind of feels like Beetlejuice doesn't even try here. So that was mildly disappointing. But then the movie ends on the most banana note possible. I can't believe that a bunch of kids are going to see this movie this weekend. Like, that last scene, I loved it. I just can't believe it's in a mainstream movie. So, anyways, I loved so much of this movie. I really did. I think the character beats were good. I think there are some heartfelt moments. I think the cast does a really great job. I think the movie is hilarious. I think the direction by Tim Burton is just perfection. I love the practical effects and just how weird this movie is. I just wish it was longer. If this movie was 20 minutes longer, I feel like it could have been every bit as good as the first movie, but I'm still going to see this movie multiple times, so I still clearly loved it. It is easily one of my favorite movies of the year, so I'm giving Beetlejuice an 8.5 out of 10. Those brain dead jokes, just comedy gold. But Beetlejuice, have you seen it? What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin, out.